Hey everyone, welcome to PC Perspective. I'm Ryan Shrout. We are here today with yet another G-Sync monitor review. It feels like we've gone through a lot of them, even though this is technically only the third different iteration of G-Sync monitors that we've seen. This is the Acer XB270H, right? So this is a 27-inch 1920 by 1080p resolution monitor that has a maximum refresh rate of 144 Hertz, and obviously, since we're talking about it under the name of G-Sync, it supports G-Sync technology. The monitor itself will look very familiar to anybody that has looked at the Acer 4K G-Sync monitor. The kind of design styling is the same. Obviously, this is a 27-inch screen. That was a 28-inch screen. But otherwise, they share a lot. The on-screen display is essentially identical. The stand is essentially identical. If you have these side by side, they're very hard to tell apart. Obviously, the primary difference here is the resolution and refresh rate. This is a 1080p 144 Hertz screen, whereas the 4K monitor from Acer is 3840 by 2160 and 60 Hertz. So that's obviously a very sizable difference. A couple of interesting things about the monitor. First of all, as we kind of look around the outside of it, there's no speakers or anything. It is a matte finish on the LCD itself. It is a gloss finish on the bezel, which can be kind of annoying. We were trying to set up a view that didn't have glare from the lights overhead, so that may be kind of a concern. It's not that big of a deal in reality. The stand is pretty good. It does support height adjustment, tilt adjustment. You can rotate it into portrait mode if you want to do that. And the viewing angles are more or less like we have been talking about the upper quality of TN panels for the past several months. Viewing angles from the left and the right are going to be acceptable. From the top are going to be pretty good, and from the bottom are going to be pretty bad. Obviously, it's not an IPS panel, but again, you know, they're trying to reduce costs, I guess, as much as they can for these G-Sync panels. So this is still a TN-based design. External connections, you've got one DisplayPort input, as we have seen on all the G-Sync panels up to this point. One standard ATX power connection, or one power cord, I guess, and then it does have a 4-port USB 3 hub with 2 ports on the outside, or on the side, and 2 on the back for you there as well. The most important thing here is obviously it's a G-Sync capability, and it works perfectly fine. It is exactly as we had expected G-Sync to work, as we have tested it on all the other G-Sync monitors, going back to the original Asus prototype, through the Asus ROG Swift, to the Acer 4K, and onto this Acer XB270H monitor. It all works fine, and the gaming experience with G-Sync is still really leaps and bounds above everything that you get with either a VSync on or a VSync off configuration with a standard monitor. Now, what's interesting about this panel specifically is that NVIDIA and its partners have done a very good job of kind of limiting our apples to apples comparisons. Remember, the Asus ROG Swift was the first, and still remains, I think, the only, shipping 2560 by 1440 2560 by 1440, 144 Hertz monitor. And this is actually, as far as I could look on Newegg and Amazon, the only 27-inch 1080p 144 Hertz monitor. We found lots of 24-inch 144 Hertz displays that don't have G-Sync, and we found plenty of 27-inch 60 Hertz 1080p displays that don't have G-Sync, but nothing that is basically the exact same thing as this without G-Sync technology in there. And the reason that's important is because of pricing. This monitor is pretty steep. It's $599. And if you compare that to some of the other options, like you can find 60 Hertz 27-inch 1080p monitors for around $200 to $220, right? If you look on Newegg and find some sales. And then you can find 24-inch 1080p monitors with 144 Hertz refresh rates, and you can get those for as little as $280 to $300. So you're talking about a solid $300 markup or price difference between a 24-inch or 27-inch 1080p display to get up to this, the Acer G-Sync with 144 Hertz capability. Now, obviously, because we don't have apples to apples, it's hard to make a direct price comparison, but there are some pretty obvious differences about what is going on in the market with that. You're going to compare that to the other G-Sync displays, the Acer XB270HK, which is the Acer 4K G-Sync, and the Asus PG278Q ROG Swift are both $799. So even though this is $599, and that's fairly expensive, I think, for a 27-inch 1080p display, it is $200 less than the other currently available G-Sync panels. Now, obviously, there's going to be a lot of people in the comments here and throughout the internet that complain about the fact that this is $599, and I think that's a totally valid concern and complaint to have. We would love to see these much more competitively priced with the other 27-inch and 144 hertz 1080p panels on the market. But I mean, from a technical standpoint, everything about the panel is great. The OSD is fine. The software is fantastic. The G-Sync capability is superb. We just wish that these were coming out and maybe lowering in price, or they had some competition. We can hope for is with CES right around the corner that AMD and the partners that they have lined up for FreeSync or AdaptiveSync technology kind of really make a splash into the press and the media, and that comes out, and that's a big story. And maybe it will put a little bit of pressure on NVIDIA and its partners with these monitors to help lower prices and get this into more PC gamers' hands, because everybody that has used it in our office and elsewhere truly believes that the variable refresh rate technology of something like G-Sync on this Acer XB270H is impressive. It's crucial. It is like the next iteration of what PC gaming does and how it's better than console gaming and everything else that came before it. But if you have to pay an exorbitant amount for it, that's obviously less than ideal. So go to PCPer.com. We've got a link in the notes below for the full review. We'll have pictures of the display. We'll have some more commentary about it and the usage of it. And obviously we'll have listings of pricing and all that too, if anything should happen to change from what we are discussing today. For now, I'm Ryan Shrout. We'll talk to you later. Thanks, guys.